Good morning. Good morning, actually, morning in Arizona. Good afternoon to the rest of the country. Today, I'm going to work on something I really enjoy. I am going to get into the game about Texas counties. So let's get right in. I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to collapse a few of these uh, channels. And right now, I am simply in clickandlearn.fun. Clickandlearn.fun. And I'm logged in, so I get full access to all of the games that you're going to see on the screen here. And you can see my user ID up here. Signed in as Bob, and I've got my avatar that I created. That avatar is our password, kind of something to make it easy for you, and we don't have to worry about anybody other places stealing your password, because all they're going to steal is a little cartoon character that you create. So let's get right into what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm going to switch to this scene, and I'm going to tell you that I have to tell you that again because I told you about it while that screen wasn't on. So we go to clickandlearn.fun, clickandlearn.fun, and we select the thumbnail that says Game Library. I select that, and that's going to give me a list of some of the different topics that we have in the system. For example, we have anatomy. I'll scroll over here to the right. We have anatomy, we have periodic chart, we have SAT, states, presidents, and so forth. But I'm going to click on the thumbnail that says pick your state. We have a set of games for all of the 50 states, plus Puerto Rico. We just got back from Puerto Rico about a month ago, actually a month ago today, and we have included Puerto Rico games right in with all of the 50 state games, so it's for easy for you to find if you'd like to learn the municipalities of Puerto Rico. But I'm going to continue scrolling across to Texas. I'm going to select the Texas thumbnail. And today I'm going to get into what is my favorite game of all of these, and that is the game that says, can you score 100% on the counties of Texas? I'm going to get into that in, let's do multiplayer mode and see what happens. And I'm going to click the green team. And we have different teams. You can be on teams if you want your school students or your friends to join you, and you can watch their progress as they go along. So make sure I'm in the right place here. I'm going to, let's see if I make this a better looking screen. Show more of the screen. And let's just see what happens. I am learning how to use live stream. And I tell you what, at my age, it's not easy to learn live stream, but it is easy to learn 50 states, countries of South America, Central America, countries of Africa, Asia, Europe, Middle East, Southwest Asia. You can learn all this stuff, but all that's for, many of those are free. I have purchased for $20 a student, $20 for myself, access. So I'm going to click the go button. First of all, I'm going to turn off the sound, and I'm going to click the go button. And it asks for Howard County. Up at the top, it's going to be the question. It says Howard County, and if this is Howard County, I get a green light. Okay, we got 254 buttons on the screen because there are 254 counties. Some are big, like always over here in the western part. Up in the panhandle, they're mostly just all square. Some of these are shaped because of rivers that run through the area. And in this area, they're really close together. We've got Rockwall, Rains, Morris, Hamilton, Titus. This would be Camp right behind here. And this would be Delta. Delta is kind of shaped like a delta. But it asks for Eastland. So let's see how we can do on this. First of all, I'm going to go through the first 20 and show you one of the features. Up here it tells you I've answered 2 so far. Reagan it is. As for Reagan County, I got a green light. Titus, I just mentioned Titus. Angelina they say it's the only one that's named after a female. And then another resource says it's named after a river, but the river is named after a female. So that's from Martin. Let's see if I can get this correct. I think this is Martin. It is Rusk. Some of these are really easy. LaSalle. This would be, where's San Saba? There we go. This is not LaSalle. Irion. Right here, I got a green light. Medina below Bandera. This is Bandera. This is Medina. Motley. Is this Motley? It is. Franklin. I always think Benjamin Franklin is a tall, thin guy. Really tall. So this county is tall and thin. That's Franklin. McLennan. McLennan should be this one. Freestone. Freestone would be this. This is limestone and freestone. That's kind of, I don't know. You never know how they name their counties. This is Runnels, Floyd. This would be Floyd, the yellow one. Limestone. I just mentioned limestone over by Freestone. This is limestone. I've answered 17 so far. I want you to watch what happens in the top right corner. When I get the next 3, it asks for Collin. I used to live in Collin County. That's where Plano, Texas is located. I've answered 18 so far. Gillespie. This should be Gillespie. And Deaf Smith. They really have some interesting names like Jim Hogg and Jim Wells. Those are 2 counties down at the bottom. So I'm going to click the one that I think is Deaf Smith, and I got that correct. Now, here's the thing. When you're in test mode, after 20 questions, this button appears in the top right corner. What that is for is because as a teacher or as a student, you all know that you teach 1,000 things in the semester, but you're not going to test on 1,000 things at the final exam or the mid something along the way. You're only going to have about 20, 25 questions at random order to see if they really have absorbed the things you've learned. So with our system, if you have your students get in and play any of our games in test mode, or if you're playing a game in test mode, after 20 questions, this button appears. And if your teacher says, let's just do the first 20 questions, you can stop at 20 or 25 or whatever the teacher suggests. Quite often, I'll go to 50 just for practice, because I enjoy this. And I'm going to show you, I got one of them wrong a minute ago, and it's going to show you that I got LaSalle wrong. When it asked for LaSalle, I clicked I clicked the one up by San Saba. So I only got 95%. I could click the go button and try again, or I can click the exit button up at the top left corner. I'm going to adjust the size of my screen here. Let's see if I can figure out how to do that. I'm going to go to the computer browser. I'm going to, it says I'm 39 pixels now. That might be better. And what does this mean? 426. Bring that over. And let's see if what I'm going to see here now. I'm going to get back into, let's see if this makes a difference. I'm going to get back into StreamYard, and I'm going to First of all, I'll see if this still works. It doesn't, so I have to get back over to here. And switch to that. And now when I go to StreamYard, it shows that, and it also shows me over here or me down here. And as I get into this, I'm going to get back into this, and I'm going to get back into that game again. First of all, I'm going to collapse this channel, and I'm going to collapse this channel because these are the ones we're working with. I'm going to go all the way across to the right, scroll, and I'm going to select the same game we just played a minute ago, and I'm going to go to multiplayer, and I'm going to click go and see what we have appearing in StreamYard. Okay, so now I am in, that's for Shelby. This should be Shelby County. It's not. Actually, this is Shelby. This was a Panola County that I clicked accidentally. Harris. Here's the big one at the bottom. It's one of the most populated counties in the United States because that's where Houston, Texas is located. And it's kind of funny, or not, because the red one up here is Houston County, but the city of Houston is down in Harris County. So it asks for Harris. Let's get that correct. Anderson is the first one alphabetically. It asks for Edwards. Let's see if I can find Edwards. And here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I'm going to do. But when I see the question, I'm going to tell you the question. And then you can read the question at top. It asks for Stevens. And you can, if you're from Texas, if you're watching this from Texas, you can say to yourself, I wonder if he's going to click this button. So you focus on where you think I should click, and then you can watch and see if I get it correct. Stevens, I got it correct. It asks for Jack County, right below Clay County. Trinity, this would be Polk. Trinity, this is Tyler. This would be, I think, Jasper and Newton counties. I was born in Jasper County, Missouri. Coincidentally or not, there's a Newton County right next to Jasper County in Missouri as well. And more interesting than that, several states or a few states in the United States have a Newton County and a Jasper County, and they're both right next to each other. Now that, I'm trying to figure out why that is. I've done research. I haven't figured that out yet. But anyway, it asks for Trinity. It got a green light. It asks for Wilson. This is Wilson. St. Augustine. This is Sabine. This would be St. Augustine. Armstrong. And, okay. And I'm on a green team. They're a little car at the bottom. Those are little teams. And as I get these correct, you're going to watch. This would be Archer, Armstrong, Montague, the green one, Mason, I think is here next to San Saba. And you can see my green car here moving ahead. Throckmorton, I think, is this one. It's not. That would be Stonewall. Stonewall, this is Throckmorton. Mitchell is this one. Travis, down here below Williamson, Travis. Garza, Gillespie, Garza. This is Garza, I think, and it is. Panola, this would be Shelby. This would be, this is Shelby. This is Panola. It asks for Panola. I got that correct. Jim Wells. These are two interesting. This red one is Jim Hogg. This is Jim Wells. I've got a green light. Star is this one. Upshur, I think Upshur is this one. It is. Callahan. Let's see if that's Callahan. Gonzalez. Goliad Gonzalez. Green light. Henderson. We do these alphabetically. Here's the thing. We do these alphabetically so that when I am playing, and I learn them alphabetically, and I learn the pattern alphabetically. So when it asks for Henderson, I think, well, Hemphill is here. Hemphill, Henderson. Okay, Henderson, Concho. Concho is, I think, is right next to Tom Green, and it is. This is Tom Green. Tom Green is really an interesting county. At first, I thought the map was wrong because Tom Green is this purple one, but Tom Green County extends all the way over here, just below Sterling and just above Irion. So it asks for, so anyway, I got that one right. Now it asks for Coleman, Duval. This would be, I think, Donnelly, and this would be, one of these is Duval. I think it's this one it is. This is McMullen. This is Live Oak. Okay. But the question, oh, well, is the coincidence? I'm telling you what I think this is, and it asks for Live Oak. So let's see if I got that correct. I did. Victoria. To me, Victoria is kind of easy because it looks to me, I pictured this lady with her face and her neck looking off to the northeast. And if you kind of use your imagination, this would be her neck, and this is the top of her head, the back of her head. And this is kind of a face. Okay, so this would be Victoria. Bastrop, Bandera, Bastrop. This would be Bastrop is right next to, where is Bastrop? Right above Fayette. I think this is Bastrop. It is. Dallas. Dallas, I worked in Dallas. I lived in Collin County, worked in Dallas County. Dallam, top left in the Panhandle Ward. Purple one down here. Potter, the third one down. Williamson is right above Travis. And right now I've answered 34. Let's go up to 50. I'm not sure if I got any wrong so far yet, but this Bosque, see the word Castro? Think to yourself, where is he going to click? Because if you already know the counties, first of all, if you know the counties of Texas, I'm very impressed because it takes some time to learn and it takes some dedication, and you have to have some incentive. For me, the incentive is just because I think it's pretty cool. So, okay, so Castro. Let's see this Castro. It's green light. Culberson. That's Culberson. Parker. This is Palo Pinto. This is Parker right next to it. Gaines. Moore County, I think, is right here. Second one down and second one from the left. Webb is a big county down here. Erath. I had to call the Chamber of Commerce in one of the cities in the county of Erath. I called the Chamber of Commerce. I said, how do you pronounce your county? I had to do the same thing with Irion. Call the county commerce, Chamber of Commerce, or the county courthouse, whatever I found online. I found the number, phoned them and said, how do you pronounce this? So anyway, this is Ellis, Erath, green light, Parker, Palmer. This should be Palmer. It is. Lynn County's right below Lubbock. SH Lubbock. Lynn, it asks for Lynn. Got it. Martin. Tyler, over here next to Jasper and Newton, and next to Polk County. And that's the beauty of this. That's the beauty of this system. Once you've played it enough times, you have a mental map of the state. And when you hear the news and hear something happened in Rains County, for example, you know that this is Rains County. Rockwall, this coincidence. Rockwall and Rains are two right down the area. They're very small. Angelina, I've answered 49. That's for Lipscomb, and that's 50. And at this point, I'd like to see my score because I think I got one wrong. And I got 96%. I got Throckmorton wrong because I clicked Stonewall when it asked for Throckmorton. Okay. So that was my error on that. But You get better and better and better as you do this. And the other cool thing is when you get one wrong, if you really know what you're talking about, when you get one wrong and you get a red light, you say, oh my gosh, I misclicked, or I misunderstood the question, or I didn't have the mouse right on the button. Because when you get it wrong and you can say, oh my gosh, I got it wrong because this is Throckmorton County, but not this one. So that's kind of cool. In my mind, that's kind of cool. But as I said, I enjoy getting into this, so I'm going to get back into that game. For those of you who are just joining the live stream, I'm going to show you again how I got here. I'm going to collapse this thumbnail. Oh, let me think. Let me make this one. Let me make this game that I'm working on free this week. Okay. I'm going to get in, and how am I going to do that? I'm going to get into free this week. I'm going to remove, actually, I got to tell you, last month we were in Puerto Rico, and we made games to learn all of the municipalities in Puerto Rico. So for the last month, these games have been free to anybody that wants to go there because we wanted to show them. So I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to remove those 5. I don't think you can see it on StreamYard because I'm doing these with the with my administrative password. Perhaps you can see it. And I'm going to assign a game from, I'm going to assign the game I'm working on today. I'm going to go down to Texas channel. I'm going to bring the Texas game up here. Okay, I want to bring Maine over as the second one. We worked with someone that was in Maine last week, and so because he was one of the subscribers watching, so we made the game from Maine free. It's still up there free. So, but I want to show you, if you're just joining this, I want to show you how to get into the game we're playing today, because you can play along with us, even without a user ID, even without purchasing access. And I got to tell you, I got to give you a commercial here. It only costs $20 a year per person to get full access to 2,000 games. And to me, if I've got a test in on the 50 states or world history or periodic chart anatomy, it's well worth the $20 just to learn that topic. So that's my commercial. And the way you can subscribe, you can click any of these games. You go to clickandlearn.fun, select any of these games, and it's going to give you 2 choices. You can play the first 7 questions for free just to see how it works. You want to say, what's in the anatomy package, or what's in this other? And you can see the games. You can play these 7 questions on each game. But there's also going to be a button that's a VIP button. You click that button, and it will lead you through some questions to ask you, set up your own user ID, and create your own avatar. Your avatar is your password. For me, my password or my avatar is this little guy up here, the little guy with the mustache and the big blue eyes and the little smile there. That's my password. What we were talking about. So I wanted to show you how you can get in and play this game that we're playing. You click this button, it says free this week, and you can get in and play. Click this button for Texas counties. And if you want to play along with us, get in your own race car, you select multiplayer, and then you click the go button. I'm going to exit from that because I want to show you another way to get into this same game. Because a lot of our games, you're going to be able to see a lot of our games. I'm going to collapse that one that says free this week. And I'm going to select the thumbnail that says game library. I click that, and we have all these topics and more. I'm going to go back to the left. I'm going to select the thumbnail that says geography, pick your state. If you are a subscriber, you can go to all of these games, all of these, no matter what, and includes, as I mentioned, it includes Puerto Rico in the midst of our 50 states. And you can select the thumbnail for Texas and play the same game. This is the game we're playing here. Can you score 100%? I click multiplayer. I've got the volume turned off. I click go, and it asks for Parker. This is Parker County. I got a green light. Stonewall. This is one I got wrong a few minutes ago and had 50 questions. This is one I got wrong. It asked for Stonewall. I got that right. It asked for Howard. Got that right. But so my point is, if you're a subscriber, if you have a user ID that you can create, and if you purchase for $20, you can get in and play all of these games down at all these channels. But if you're not a subscriber, and I'm going to collapse and to show you, if you're not a subscriber and you're not a member of our, this is the best club. This is geography club here is, we believe it's so important. But if you're not a subscriber and you're just scrolling through here, you can click this button, and as long as we have this game up, for example, we have a game up about the World Cup countries. When you click that one, it's free this week. I'm going to click multiplayer, and it asks for Algeria. These are countries that were World Cup members. I think it was 36. I'm not sure. 32, 38. But anyway, it asked for Algeria. Got that right. Argentina. World Cup had teams from all over the world. Austria, right below Czech Republic. Belgium. Small country of Belgium has a soccer team, just like, and here's Bosnia-Herzegovina, just like Brazil, the large country of Brazil, okay? And every 15 minutes, this teamwork thing starts. You put yourself back in the car and race each other as friends. It asks for Brazil, and I was 13 seconds over, okay? If you know how the system works and you've seen the videos, you know that we're racing the clock. When I click go, I've only got 17 seconds to identify these first 7 World Cup countries. Algeria, Argentina, Austria. Where's Austria? Austria. Australia, that's for Australia. You see, you got to pay attention. Okay, now it asks for Austria. Belgium. I'm not going to beat the clock this time because I really messed up there. And that's for Brazil. 5 seconds over, so let's do this correct. Algeria, Argentina, Australia. Now it asks for Austria. Okay, Belgium, Belarus, and Brazil. We beat the clock, and now we will go on to 14. This is fun. We're going to leave this game up for another week because this game, to me, is really a lot of fun because you're learning about countries all over the world, not just on one continent at a time. For example, yonder 3 this week, okay, is South America. You can learn the names and location of the countries of South America in 24 minutes. 24 minutes. Now, if I told that to, I hope I got the right screen. Yes. If I told that to a teacher or someone who was a secretary of education in some state, and I said, you can learn the names and locations of the country of South America in 24 minutes, they would probably just delete my email because it sounds preposterous. It really does. And when I say you can learn the 50 states in one evening, 50 states in one evening, they're going to bring their colleagues in and they're going to laugh at this guy. And this guy thinks he can learn 50, thinks we can learn 50 states, thinks our students can learn 50 states in one evening. And they're all going to laugh because when I was a student and when most of your teachers were students, you might have spent a whole semester, a whole school year in maybe 7th grade pretending to learn the 50 states, and you still cannot find Alabama, Wyoming, New Mexico, Vermont on a blank map of the United States. That's how terrible it was, education was for geography in those years. But with this system, you're not going to believe when I tell you you're going to learn all, your students can learn all 50 states in one evening, 3 hours. But invite me in. Invite me in. Bring your Chromebooks. Invite me in and have me sit down in your conference room with you, and 3 or 4 of your teachers will prove to you that it works. And when I'm talking about your teachers, not your geography teachers, bring in some of your other teachers and I'll show them to prove to you that it works. Anyway, I get so excited about this and I get off tangent. But here we are in the green car. I've already got 26 smarts because I've got 26 correct already. And I really need this to be, what happens when I go full screen? Okay, there's full screen. Can you still see that in StreamYard? I'm not sure what you're seeing in StreamYard. Are you still seeing all those cars at the bottom, those little cars and the race cars? I want to click go and I want you to watch that green car. When I get Argentina, notice I got 27 smarts. Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. And I beat the clock by 7 seconds, so that right now I've got 40 smarts and I bumped up ahead of all of the other teams. If you're playing with one of your friends, if you're playing with your family, kids, your siblings, grandkids, they can each have their own car and they can race each other. And if one of them gets way ahead, that's okay, because after 15 minutes, starts over at 0, so nobody gets left behind for more than 15 minutes. Okay, and that gives me the incentive to say, I want to beat my friend. I want to beat my sister. I want to beat my granddad. I want to beat my grandson. So I'm going to get in and play. I don't know, instead of watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, I'm going to get in and play this game for the country of South America. So that I can do Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador. The question is at the top, Falkland Islands. Question is for French Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, and Venezuela. You can do that without even looking at the question. Okay, see the green car has got 75 and all the rest of them have 0. Click go. No, let's do that over, because in review mode, you can really fly through it. Once you know the country of South America so well, you don't have to look at the question. Question's at the top because you know it's going to be Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile in alphabetical order, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela. And there we go. I've got 89 smarts now. Okay. That, and it tells me Bob cleared level 2 countries, South America. If you beat the clock, it tells you. So let's do replay. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname. And I'm not going to beat the clock. I'm distracted. Then I forgot where Uruguay was, so I didn't beat the clock. Right now I am 1 second over and so forth. It asks for Uruguay. It asks for Venezuela. I got them all right, but I was 7 seconds over. And notice, we do not get a message at the bottom that says, Bob just mastered level 2 because I did not master it. Okay, let's see. I'm going to click go. And this time when I get these all and beat the clock, there should be a little message coming across here with your name. If you're playing, it should say your name and that you just mastered. In this case, we'll see what happens. Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands, French Guiana, Guyana, Paraguay, Peru, Suriname, Uruguay, Venezuela. And let's see if that message comes across. Oh, here we go. It just cleared. That means I beat the clock. And now it says, let's play them in random order. So I click go. And they're in random order. We give you more time in random order because you have to look at the question each time. You have to look at the question up at the top. It says Bolivia. Bolivia. It says Bolivia, so you click the correct button. You're still racing the clock. Uruguay. This is Uruguay, and I'll tell you at any time, Brazil. I don't know the difference between Uruguay and Paraguay. Falkland Islands is easy. Suriname is up in the center between French Guiana and Guyana. It asks for Guyana. Paraguay, this is Uruguay. This would be Paraguay. You get to where you know all this. Colombia is connected to Panama, Peru, Chile, Argentina, French Guiana, Ecuador. Ecuador's right on the equator. Venezuela. Oh, I did not beat the clock. I was talking too much. So I don't get the message at the bottom said I cleared it. I got the points, but I did not clear that level. So I click go and Brazil, Guyana, less talk, more Ecuador. Okay. You do want to say Uruguay. You do want to say the answers out loud, Argentina. You just don't want to be talking to your friends or talking on the phone, Paraguay. French Guiana, Colombia. You can tell in the top left corner if I'm going to beat the clock or not. Venezuela. Oh, and okay. Okay, I beat the clock. And there's a message at the bottom that says Bob cleared level 3. Your students, when they put their names into the system, when they get their own user ID and subscribe to your channel, if you're a teacher, you can buy a playground. You control what games the kids see. You can control what games they play because you are the owner of that playground. And your students can join you. Let's say I'm a teacher and I've got 20 students and I buy this system for all 20 of my students. Maybe I've got some miscellaneous money in my funds. Maybe I just want to do this on my own. Maybe I have a geography club and every student pays $20 to be in the club for the year. And I just buy access for all of my students, all the members of this geography club. And we get in and we play this and we play in multiplayer mode. We challenge each other. And that's one of the things that makes this fun, challenging each other, not to be superior, but to encourage your friends to let's get in and do this. I mean, how many of you have played? How many of you, I don't know, have ever played basketball and you're playing with uh, toddlers, okay? There is no fun, no pride, or no joy in scoring against toddlers. The fun comes in when you're playing people who have similar skills that you do. So with this system, you want your friends or your relatives to also learn so that you got a challenge. What challenge is it for Michael Jordan to be playing against some high school team? There's no challenge for him at all. And it's no fun for those high school. Well, it'd be fun because, Michael Jordan's there, for one thing. Of course, that'd be exciting. But if it's just your friends, you want them to succeed as well. And that's what this whole system is about. Everybody succeeds. So let me go into, we played it alphabetically. Then we did it random and we beat the clock. And now let's go to test mode. Test 14 questions. I click go. I really want to get back into Texas in a few minutes. I'm just so excited to show you how the system works. We're in test mode now. It asks for French Guiana. Notice that I still get a green light. It asks for Argentina. I get a green light, but the buttons do not disappear in test mode. So if you've got all 50 buttons on the screen and it says, where's Wyoming? You have to click the correct button because you know that's Wyoming, not because, there's only 4 buttons on the screen now. All 14 in this case are on the screen. But the other thing is, that's for Bolivia, got a green light. That's for Brazil, I got a green. But the other thing is you're not racing the clock. You have time to think. Peru, okay. Suriname. This is French Guiana. Okay, this is Suriname. You have time to think. That's for Venezuela. And you have time to think that Venezuela's kind of shaped like the letter V. V as in Venezuela. Wider at the top, thinner at the bottom. You'll never get that wrong. Venezuela. Uruguay. I'll tell you, one of these days, I'll tell you about the trick to learn the difference between Uruguay and Paraguay. And if you really think about it, Uruguay starts with the letter U, Paraguay starts with the letter P, and when you go up from U to P as the word U and P spell, Uruguay's down here, Paraguay's up here. It asks for Uruguay, we're in test mode. Uruguay, Guyana, Paraguay, French Guyana. I tell you what, we're going to end this 15-minute session in a minute. We're going to start a new game in just a few seconds, Colombia. And now we can select a different car. I'm going to select a red car and see what happened. Let's see if this worked. We're still playing this game, Ecuador and Paraguay. And I just got an extra point. So let's do that again. Let's do it again. I click replay, go. There I am in the red car. It asks for Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador. Replayed. We're starting over. And Falkland. Logically aware friends have 2 monitors so they can see what else is happening. For example, I could put a banner across the bottom that says, you all rock, and you can tell that to your students as they're playing. Or you could say, what? What are some of these? We've got some really strange banners here. I'm going to delete some of these. Okay, and I'm going to say, okay. Wow. Okay. one of my friends had a celebration. He had been on YouTube for 15 years, and he had a lot of his friends coming in and doing his games together. It wasn't geography, it was Thomas the Train thing. And I don't know anything about Thomas. I have watched some of his videos. They tell a good story. He has a script. He'll put his trains into a scenario where one of them is getting bullied by another train engine. And some people come to the rescue and they say, don't be doing that. It's not polite. That's not light. That's not kind. Click and Learn is all about being kind. Click and Learn makes you feel good without having to step on other people. Because once you know the countries of the world or the 50 states or the 78 municipalities of Puerto Rico, you feel good because of yourself. You don't have to step on somebody else. You don't have to say, oh, I'm better than these people of a different religion or a different race or anything like that. That is not Click and Learn's method. I'll show you another banner that he had because he was celebrating 200,000 subscribers. And he had some of his fellow YouTube, what do you call them? Thomas collaborators and creators in this live stream with him. So he put a lot of, so I'm going to make a banner and I'm going to bring it up and it's going to say Fun with Texas, Fun with come on, I got to type Texas. Fun with Texas counties. Okay, and I'm going to show that on the screen. Okay, and that's kind of cool. We tell people what we're doing. We could have even made it. I could have made it scroll across the bottom. However that works. I'll tell you what, scroll across the bottom and how do I save that? And then let's say I say, I don't know what that is. I'm going to hide that. I'm going to delete that banner. And I'm going to say, show this one. Okay. And that's one I just showed you. I'm going to edit that. I'm going to say scroll across the bottom. And I'm going to say save that. Okay. And now I'm going to have that. Still not working. How do I do this? Anyway, that's insignificant. That is not important. My point is, Click and Learn is all about respecting people from around the world. Click and Learn is all about being kind, not hating, not wasting your life hating somebody because they're a different religion or a different race or a different orientation or a different language. We might only be on this, I don't want to get into my philosophy about life, but we might only be on this planet one time. And I don't think we should waste our beautiful, beautiful life hating people when we could. First of all, when you disrespect someone else, you're disrespecting yourself. If you don't have enough confidence in yourself that you need to step on somebody else, let me get off that. I get so wound up, they call it, about the importance of being kind, the importance of geography. So let me get in, and I'm going to exit from that game, and I'm going to go to the thing we're talking about today, and that is the joy of learning names and locations of the 254 Texas counties. I clicked this thumbnail. I'm going to click multiplayer, and I'm still in the red car, and I've got 6 more minutes of this 15-minute time segment, and I'm going to click go. And I'm only going up to the first 20 questions. I'm going to play 20 questions and see if I get them, correct. Okay. Brazoria, I got a green light. Jack, right below Clay, I got a green light. Dickens, I think this is Delta. This is Denton. I think this is Dickens. It is. Okay. Washington, right next to Waller. This is Waller. This is Austin. This is Washington County. 31 states. Some guy told me that 31 states have a Washington County. Ford, I don't know how to pronounce this one. I should call their Van Zant. Valverde. Let's see if this is Van Zant. Not Van Zant. Which would have been Van Zant. This might have been Van Zant. I'll find out in a minute. Frio. This is Dimmitt. This is Frio. McMullen. I had a friend in college. His last name was Mullen. Crockett. I had a coonskin cap when I was a kid. Back when Davy Crockett was born on the wild frontier, Brewster County. Coryell. How do I remember where Coryell is? Well, Coryell and Bell both rhyme. And if you know where Bell is, Coryell is right next to it. Andrews. Greg, I have a friend named Greg from college. Shackelford. This should be Shackelford. Good. Howard. Right. This would be Sterling. This would be Howard. Callahan. I got that wrong because which these is Callahan. Is this Callahan? We'll find out in a minute. Anderson. Got it right. Lee. Henderson County. Grayson County. Got it right. Wood. I think of a wood stove. You know, the old wood stoves created by Benjamin Franklin. Well, this is Franklin. This is wood stove. Nacogdoches. See if this is it. Correct. Lipscomb. Well, I said it's only going to do 22 counties, but I've already up to 22. So let's go to 25. Lipscomb. Montgomery. And one more for Burleson. Oh, no. Yeah. This is Burleson. Okay, I'll show you that in a minute. Anyway, it tells you that I only scored 88%. I got Callahan wrong. This is Callahan. This is Burleson right up there where I told you it is actually. So let's exit from that up here. We're going to get back into that same game. And we're going to play in multiplayer, test mode, and go. Hamilton. I have a great nephew who was big into Hamilton. He was like 11 years old and singing all these songs from the play Hamilton. I was so amazed at this kid. And I was so amazed on his birthday. For his birthday gift, I took him to see the play Hamilton in Denver, Colorado. It was a beautiful venue. Anyway, this is Hamilton. Andrews, green light. Let's see if I get these. McMullen, Caldwell. Okay. Let's see if this is Caldwell. It's still not Caldwell. This is Caldwell. Come on. Okay, I'm going to start over. I'm going to get 100%. I'm going to get these correct. I click that game. I'm in test mode. I'm going to go into multiplayer. And Morris. Morris over here next to Titus. Rains, a little one next to this is Rockwall, this is Rains. Knox County. When I think in Knox County, where the gold was supposedly stored until, I don't know if it's still here or someone absconded from it with it. But in Knox County, they had all the gold. And I think of gold, I think money. Money's green. I know that's kind of a circular way to getting to the point where I think Knox County in our system is green. Harris, where Houston is located. Lubbock is the green one here. Lubbock. Donnelly, let's see if this is Donnelly. It is. Smith. Now I sometimes get Smith and Hill confused. This is Hill County. This is Smith. If I get it right, I get a green light. Mason. San Saba is kind of a unique central point here. So I base a lot of these off like Milan. This is Milan Mills County. This is Burnett County. This would be, it asks for Mason. This is Mason County. Upshur, UPS. That's Upshur. Camp is, if I didn't have this button, you'd see that camp is shaped like a little tent, like when you're camping out in the woods. Stevens. Here's an interesting thing about Stevens County. It was named after, I think, a vice president. Let's see if I get it right. I do. Here's the history about Stevens. During the Civil War, some of the counties were named after the Union people. Some were named after Confederates. Stevens County was named after the vice president of the Confederacy. I think you might check that out. And what happened? What happened? Okay, I know what happened. We got to where we're starting a new game where everybody starts with 0. So now we compete against each other again. It has from Martin County. I got that right. Crockett, Lipscomb, top right, Lamar, the third one right next to Red River. Here's the other thing. This is all the shapes of these counties, the top of these counties. That is all shaped by the Red River. Above the Red River is Oklahoma. And they used to have something called the Red River rivalry between the football teams. And that rivalry was held, I think, right up here close to the river at the state fairgrounds in Dallas County, I think. Dallas County. I could be wrong. Okay. Anyway, my point is Lamar, Limestone. This is yellow one, Limestone. This is Freestone. Runnels between Coke and Coleman. In between those is Runnels. Culberson. I think it's far over here in this area. Carnes is kind of shaped like the letter K. You can kind of see the shape of that purple one. That is Carnes. Terry, Rockwall. I took flying lessons in Rockwall County. I lived in Collin County. I took flying lessons at a place called the Phillips Flying Ranch. Back in, I don't know what year it was. I'd have to think. And they had a little Cessna 2-seater. And that was kind of cool. It was on a gravel runway. Anyway, it was in Rockwall County. Rockwall, I got that correct. Travis, right below Williamson. And here's the beauty. Once you know Bosque. There's a Bosque. Bosque is a type of food in either France or Spain, or a Bosque, an area where they have a certain type of food. That's Bosque. Denton. I have a good friend named Denton. This is Denton. Bell County. Bell. McLennan would be this one. DeWitt where's DeWitt? This one shaped like the letter D laying on its side. You can see what goes through my mind, all these crazy things, ways of remembering. will have your own way of remembering. I got a friend that thinks Peru is shaped like letter P. Does not look like that to me, but it does to him, and that helps him. Okay, as for DeWitt, I got it correct. Red River, I just talked about Red River. That's Red River County. Jack County, right below Clay. Liberty, look at that. Now, Liberty is definitely shaped like the letter L. Look at that. Is that easy or what? Young, this would be Yoakum, this would be Young. Calhoun. Okay, Calhoun, I think, is this purple at the bottom. Sometimes I have to think. Now, Kleberg is Kennedy. I think this is Kleberg, and it is. This would be Nueces, San Patricio. This would be Refugio. So that's how I learned it. Dickens. This would be, I think, in the pattern. Dickens. When I think of Dickens, Motley, this is Motley and this is Dickens. And I think of Motley and Dickens, that MD. I think of a doctor. Doctor is an MD. MD, medical doctor. So after I've said all this, let's see if I get it right. It asks for Dickens. I got it right. So this would be Motley. When I get to that, Loving, right over here next to is Winkler. This is Loving. Oh, here's the other thing about Loving. Loving is one of the least populated counties in the entire nation. Loving is also the least populated in Texas. I just got a little beep. Let's see if anything important. Nothing important. I get so much spam all day long. They thrive on old people. They think we're gullible. They think we're going to give them our credit card number or social security number because they tell us we're from your local bank. We need to know because someone just bought an Apple computer. And if it's yours, we understand. But if it's not, send us your credit number and we'll figure it out. I tell you what, that should be against the law. Loving County, Reagan County. Here's the other interesting thing. There are a lot of counties that share names with presidents. But Reagan County was created long before Ronald Reagan was president. And this is Reagan. This is Yoakum, San Saba. San Saba is kind of a cool county. I mean, the shape to me is San Saba. Gillespie. This would be Gillespie, Hutchison, second down from the top. Coryell, I said it's right next to Bell. I got a green light. Concho's next to Tom Green. I got that correct. Somerville is a small county below Hood. Callahan. Okay, now, this is where I might get into trouble. I think I've got these wrong. Okay, that's Callahan. Marion. This is Madison. Marion. This would be Martin when I get to that alphabetically. Ford, if you know how to pronounce Ford phonetically, let me know. And what am I going to do over here? I want to see if there's any comments from anybody. Not yet. We're going live, and I think we're live on YouTube, so you can follow us there. But let me get back into continuing. It asks for Wood County. And the Wood is right below Franklin. This is Dimmitt. This is Frio. Washington, right next to Waller and Austin. Washington County. Gregg County. I tell you what, I don't think I've got any wrong yet. So let's see if I can go through this and get 100%. It's going to take a few minutes, but once you've done this and you can get into doing this, it really is a thrill. It's a thrill. I've answered 50 so far. Let me make sure I'm on the right screen. It looks like I'm still broadcasting the correct screen. I've answered 50 so far. It asks for Bandera. And with my luck, after talking all about all that, I might get it wrong. This is McMullen, the yellow one. Maynard. Maynard. This is Madeira. This is Maynard. Maynard. Winkler over here next to Loving. Dallam, top left. Presidia, the red one down here. Fisher. Fisher would be this one here. I think this is King. I think this is Fisher. It is. Kimball. I have a friend from college named Kimball. It is right above. This is Kerr. I think this is Kimball. Johnson. Johnson County. Andrews. Anderson. Andrews. Second letter alphabetically. Carson. Right above Armstrong. This would be Carson. It's Green. St. Augustine. Next to Sabine. St. Augustine. Gonzales is Goliad. This would be Gonzales. Walker. Walker is in this area right here. That's Walker. Hayes is next to San Saba. Is that correct? Well, it's kind of. That's Hayes. Kendall. Jimmy Kendall, one of my good friends in first grade. Kendall. Newton County. One of these is Jasper and one of these is Newton. I think this is Newton. Okay. Irion. Irion. Clay. Clay. Shackelford. This is Shackelford. Glasscock. Hood. Where do you think Hood is? Hood. Where do you think Ochiltree is? Look at where you think. I'm going to click and then see if I get it correct. Wheeler County. Wheeler. That's for Brazoria. Brazoria is right next to Guadalupe. This would be Brazoria. Williamson. Do you know where I'm going to click next? Williamson. Goliad. Goliad. Swisher. Swisher. Here's another clue or trick. Swisher. There's a guy named Swisher, used to be a coach for Oklahoma. And this is Swisher. This is Hale. This is Lubbock. This is Lynn. So I think of Shell. S-H-L-L. Because Swisher is an easy one for me. So then I think of Hale, Lubbock, Lynn. So that's for Swisher. I get that correct. Star. Right down here. Nacogdoches. Nacogdoches. There's only 5, I think, starts with letter N. Hale. I was just talking about Hale. Hale. Tyler next to Polk. El Paso. Far west. Fannin. Below, right above Hunt. Fannin. Jim Hogg. Jim Hogg, and this would be Jim Wells when it asks for that one. Hopkins. Hopkins. So this is Hockley. Hood. Hopkins is one of these. I think this is UPS. Up here. I think this is Hopkins. Got it correct. And this, when it gets to the V's, it'll ask me for Van Zandt. This is Valverde. I think it is Van Zandt. Or maybe this is Wood. So maybe this is Van Zandt. Ward County, W-A-R-D. Ward. Live Oak. Kaufman County. There's a stadium in Kansas City named after Kaufman. Kaufman Stadium, I think, used to be anyway. Lana with 2 L's. Hardin. Dimmitt. Garza. Gaines, Galveston, Garza. Gillespie, Glasscock, Goliad, Gonzales, Greg Grayson, Greg Grimes, Guadalupe, Armstrong. Armstrong, yellow one here. Cottle, I think this is Cottle. I've answered 95 so far. Let's see if I can get up to 100. Jasper. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? I told you. I've been talking about Jasper for the last 20 minutes, the county I was born in Missouri. And then I clicked St. Augustine instead. So I got one wrong. But let's go on. This is Falls. Wilbarger, this Wichita with hotter than hell bicycle ride is in Wichita Falls, Texas, every year in the hottest Saturday of the year, and they bicycle 100 miles right next to Wilbarger. And I've been in that. I've been in that about 4 or 5 times. Fantastic trip. Lampasas. La Salle, La Vaca, Lampasas. Let's see if this Lampasas. It is, okay. Dawson. This is Dallam. Deaf Smith. Midland. I think this might be Dawson. Let's think about this. See if I got it right. I did. Okay. Edwards. Edwards is a big county down here below Sutton, I think. Okay. And above Terry. Okay. No, this is Terry. Terry. Kenny. I think this is Kenny. Wilson. You can see, you can watch my mind trying to work. Angelina. You can watch my mind trying to think. Let's see if it's gray. It is. Hall. This is Hall. This is Rusk. This is Brewster. Kennedy. Kennedy with one N. Comanche would be, this is Johnson. I think this is Comanche. Floyd and Ford are both at the same elevation, or what do you call it, longitude. That and Anderson. First one alphabetically, Anderson. We're starting a new game, a new level again, but that's okay. All you have to do is just put yourself back in a car. And whoever's competing against you, you don't even have to be playing the same game. You can have one of your students be playing the 50 states, another one be playing South America, another one of your students be playing 31 states of Mexico, or the 13 provinces and territories of Canada. And you can watch them as a teacher. You can assign different games to your student, and you can watch them when you are a subscriber, and you can watch and see the progress. When they're playing in multiplayer mode, you can see where they're going. I'll show you this whole thing in a minute again. Okay, it asks for Hunt. Hunt is right below Fannin. Hunt. Taylor, 1, 2, 3, the third purple and over. Deaf Smith. Navarro. This is Nacogdoches. This would be Navarro. Got it correct. Fayette County. Cherokee County. Scurry. See if I got that correct. Real County. Cook County is Van Zandt. Valverde Van Zandt. Now, I've been talking about this for a while. Let's see if I get it right. This is UPS, or Upshur. This is Wood. This is Hopkins. This is Smith. So let's see if this is Van Zandt. It is. Okay, that's my process of elimination. Motley, right above Dickens. MD. Shelby. One of these is Shelby, one is Panola. I think this is Shelby. I got it correct. Sherman is this one. Brooks, got it correct. Tarrant, okay, 125. Let's just check my score. I'm going to start over. I checked my score and I got 99%. I forgot which one I got. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Of all things, I got Jasper wrong. It asked for Jasper. I clicked St. Augustine instead. Now, if my teacher says, why did you get 99%? I can explain. I wasn't focusing. I wasn't concentrating. I clicked the wrong button. Okay, I'm going to exit from that. I'm going to show you from the start how to get into playing these free games. They're free this week. Okay, I'm going to collapse that for now. I'm going to start for those of you that just joining us, I go to clickandlearn.fun. And on clickandlearn.fun, we have what we call a playground. All of these games and all of these folders of more games are available for you to play. We make learning fun because it's clickandlearn.fun. We set up a playground with all of these games and more that you haven't even seen yet. Each of these are games. What more proof could you have that we make learning fun? Anyway, my point is, you go to clickandlearn.fun, and this is the playground that I have set up. I am a teacher. I have registered my own playground so I can put on the screen whatever I want my students to see and whatever games I want them to play. And so I own this playground. It costs me to purchase a playground. It costs me $20 per student or $20 per everybody in my geography club. And with that $20 per student or client or club member, all of your members of your group, all of your students can get in and play these games. All they have to do is set up a user ID, make their own avatar. They can get in and play at any time, day or night. They can play while the grandparents are watching Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. They can be playing this game. And honestly, I'll tell you a story. It's a true story, of course, but I don't have a TV. I did not have a TV. And in my age, a lot of people my age, and maybe your age, like to watch Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. But here's what happened to me. I would get home from work and I'd watch headline news, and I knew Jeopardy was going to come on in 2 hours. I'd watch and watch and watch. I'd watch Jeopardy, I'd watch Wheel of Fortune and whatever would they come in. And then I'd sit there and watch whatever else was on after that and after that and after that. I had so little willpower. I'd come from work and I'd watch TV from 5:30 at night to midnight. And one of these times I said to myself, what are you doing? What are you wasting your life doing? Watching TV. So many times I tell people, it does not take anything away from your life to learn countries of the world. For example, instead of watching 30 minutes of some TV episode, I could learn the names and locations of all the countries of South America in those 30 minutes, 24 minutes. 24 minutes is what it takes to learn the countries of South America. So I can honestly say that learning geography does not take any extra hours of your life. You just change the things that you focus on. Change that 1 hour TV show that you watch, and what do you learn from? What do I learn from? You know what I learned from Jeopardy? I think you have 24 questions at each level. You know what I learned? You don't learn anything. You answer the ones you think you got right. And usually I get about 4 correct. It's entertaining, yes. It's entertaining because I say, oh my gosh, I knew what. Oh, I knew that. I knew that. Why did that other guy know it? As if I'm better than him because I'm sitting here wasting my life watching TV. So I got rid of my TV. Yes, there are still some things I want to watch. And sometimes when my sister is visiting here in town, she has a house here in town. When she's in town and invites me over, I'll watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune with her just to hang out with her and her husband. Hanging out is important to me. Hanging out with you is important to me. Hanging out with you, knowing I'm going to be doing a live stream and that you might be joining us, hanging out with you is what motivates me. Okay. So where were we? My point is, you do not have to take any extra hours. You don't have to add 23 hours to your day, 27 hours to your day. You just change your focus. Instead of watching some TV show, I used to watch a show called Headline News, and every hour it'd show you the things around the world. And then the next hour, it'd show you the same things around the world. It'd put a little twist in, say, oh, you got to learn to see what happens in Uganda in this next hour. And I'll watch to see what happens in Uganda. But it's the same 55 minutes of news, 5 minutes about Uganda. I'll watch that. And then they have this little, what they call a hook to bring you to watch the next one. They say, you will not believe what happened in Bolivia this last today. So I got to watch that. Pretty soon I've wasted the whole darn evening. So because I have so little willpower, I didn't throw my TV in the trash. I got rid of my TV. I disconnected the cable. Sometimes I do want to watch a football game, Saturday college football game, and I'll go to Buffalo Wild Wings or a sports bar, sit there at the bar and watch all of their TVs. And I'll text my friends from Oklahoma and I say, wow, what a play. Or, oh, no, they intercept, whatever. That's the way I hang out. I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, but I'm still hanging out with my friends by way of text. So I do watch TV, but I don't have a TV at home. I have so little willpower that I'd waste my life watching TV. I'd wake up. I got a relative. When she wakes up in the morning and walks through the living room, what does she do on her way to the kitchen for coffee? Turns on the TV. Turns on the TV, and it's on until, I don't know, midnight. I'm not one to talk. I have the computer on. I'm playing these games. I'm enjoying this. I'm interacting with you right now. I'm hanging out with you right now. So here's what I want to show you. We're going to get back in from the beginning. You go to clickandlearn.fun, and I have purchased a playground with all of these games set up for my students, and I want to show them how to play the 50 states. First of all, that particular game is free this week. When I'm doing a live stream, I'll make the game I am demonstrating. I'll make that game free to all of you who want to watch and play along. Right now we have this game is free, Counties of Maine. Let's get into Counties of Maine for a second. We had someone stumbled onto our live stream the other day, and he was in Maine. And I'm going to click the red team here. And so we made Maine free for that time. Let's see if I can remember. That was Androscoggin, Aroostook, Cumberland. Cumberland, is this Cumberland? It is. Franklin, Hancock, Kennebec, and Knox. Okay, 2 seconds over, so we'll do that again. Androscoggin, Aroostook, Cumberland, Franklin, Hancock, Kennebec, and Knox. We beat the clocks, and now we go to 14 questions. I think it were 16 total in this game. Yes. Right now we're at 14. The red one is Androscoggin, Aroostook. Cumberland is the purple one. Franklin is green. Hancock, Kennebec, Knox. Lincoln is right down here, the green one. Oxford on the west. Oxford, Penobscot, I don't know how to pronounce that. Piscataquis, Don't know how to pronounce that. Sagadahoc. Okay. Somerset, there's one I can pronounce, and Waldo, I can pronounce that. I was 8 seconds over, so I'll go through that again. It asks for Androscoggin, Aroostook, Cumberland, Franklin, Hancock, Kennebec, Knox, Lincoln, Oxford, Penobscot, Piscataquis, Sagadahoc, Somerset, and Waldo. We beat the clock, and now we go to all 16 questions, which now includes Washington and York. Okay. Once we get to that, and I got 24 seconds to do this. So let's go to Androscoggin, Aroostook, Cumberland, Franklin, Hancock, Kennebec, Knox, Lincoln, Oxford, Penobscot, Piscataquis, Sagadahoc, Somerset, Waldo, Washington, and York. Okay. We'll beat the clock. So now we go into random order. Let's see if we can do this. Somerset, Oxford, Knox, Franklin, Aroostook, Cumberland, the purple one down here, Hancock. I tell you what, I've been to Maine one time. I worked for a dairy, one of the bottling companies that sells milk. So when the company was right down here someplace, it was right on the coast. My only time in Maine, it was beautiful. Back to the game. I've been talking. I get so distracted and so excited. I'm already talking. I'm not going to beat the clock. I'll have to play this again. Washington, Kennebec, Penobscot. Okay, let's go back into the red team. Penobscot, Waldo. Where's Waldo? Piscataquis, Lincoln, York down the bottom, Sagadahoc, and this would be Androscoggin. I did not beat the clock. I'm going to beat the clock this time. These are in random order, apparently. Aroostook, Penobscot, Sagadahoc. Which one is it? Yes, this yellow one. York, Hancock. I'm going to beat the clock. Lincoln, Washington, Piscataquis. Franklin is the green one. Androscoggin is the red one. Knox, Cumberland, Oxford, all close together. Somerset, Kennebec, and Waldo. And we beat the clock. We beat it by 2 seconds. And now we go to test mode. This is the beauty of this system, is what I'm showing you, what I think I'm showing you. Yes, what I'm showing you is that learning the countries, I believe that learning the names and locations of the countries of the world is important. Because when you know the countries of the world, you can, first of all, you absorb the news better. You have more confidence in yourself, because when you meet someone has an accent, you can say, where are you from? And you can ask them with confidence, because when they say, oh, I'm from Kenya, or I'm from Bangladesh, or I'm from the Gambia, when they say where they're from, you know where they're from, where their parents might have immigrated from, where their grandparents might be buried. You know, and you can show respect. First of all, you have confidence to ask them, because you can say, oh yeah, I know where the Gambia is, surrounded by Senegal. The Gambia River runs through it. You don't have to be an expert at all of this trivia, like what's their biggest import and export, what type of currency do they use? Do they use, I don't know, they have a democracy or a kingdom or whatever they have. You don't have to know all that stuff, because simply by saying where you're from, and the guy says, I'm from Kenya, or you can say, his kid. I met a kid, he bounces basketball one time, bicycling around a park around this lake in Oklahoma City. He bounced his basketball. It hit a rock and came right over towards where I was sitting at a park bench. I handed it to him. He was with his mom and dad on the sidewalk. I handed him the basketball. I said, "Where you guys from?" He said, "We're from Kenya." Now, I don't know a lot about Kenya, but I know where it's located. And because I know where it's located, when I hear the news about what is that thing, the New York City Marathon, quite often it's someone from Kenya wins that. So I know that some of the fastest long distance runners are from Kenya. So I said to this kid, "Where are you from?" He said, "We're from Kenya." As I handed the ball, I said, "Kenya has some of the fastest long distance runners in the world." Big smile on this kid's face. And he runs back to his parents, bouncing his basketball. But I made his day and I made him feel proud. And that's all it takes. That's all it takes to be kind. When you know the names of the 50 states and the municipalities of the counties of states, municipalities of Puerto Rico, as we learned while we were there last month. When you know these things, and you know where all the countries of Africa, Asia, Europe, Middle East are located, South America, Central America. I was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching one of the big TVs. I was watching the NBA playoffs. And they have 50 TVs there. The one happened to be in front of us was broadcasting in Spanish. I said to the bartender, "David, why is this in Spanish?" He said, "It doesn't make any difference what language it's in. You can watch the game. You can see the score. Oh, and besides that, they don't have the volume on." So 2 seats away from me was a guy. And he said, "If you have any questions, I speak Spanish." And I said, there was an empty seat behind us. And he said, "Do you have any questions? I speak Spanish. I can help you." I said, "I do have some questions." And I moved over next to him. I was learning the names and municipalities of the municipalities of Puerto Rico. And I said, "How do you pronounce this?" And I showed him Novanas, the word that I found on Quebradilla, Barranquitas, and he showed me how to pronounce this as well as I know now. So I asked him, I said, "So where are you from?" And he said, "I'm from Central America." I said, "No, what country are you from?" Now he knows that I'm his white American who probably does not know anything about geography, because he's told many people when they ask, "Where are you from?" he says, "I'm from his country." And the people have a blank look because they have no idea where that country is. So I said, "Where are you from?" And his default answer when people ask, he says, "Oh, I'm from Central America." I said, "No, what country are you from?" He said, "Guatemala." I said, "Guatemala, right next to Honduras, right above Nicaragua." Big smile, because I knew where he was from. I knew where his parents were likely from. I knew where his grandparents were likely buried. And I could show him the respect. Here's the other thing. I get so wound up about this, and I'm going to be doing this forever because, well, if I live that long. Because I think that geography helps lead to world peace. When I can sit next to this guy and say, "Where are you from?" I've got a friend that's in hospice. So I go to visit her about once a week, see how you doing, what's going on. One of her nurses in hospice has an accent. And I'm in there visiting with my relative, and the nurse came in for check her blood pressure, whatever they do. And she had an accent, and I said, and I didn't say, "Where are you from?" I didn't say, "Where are you from?" I said, "Where you from?" She said, "I'm from Jamaica." We had a conversation simply because I know where Jamaica's located. And when I hear something in the news about Jamaica, I absorb that better because it's not just some random place, someplace on this scary planet. We had a conversation. And when I go back to visit my friend every week, this lady is almost always there, and she's happy to see me because she knows that I just show her respect. You can do that to everybody. You can show everybody on the darn planet respect. You don't have to try and put down somebody else to make yourself feel better. It really irritates me. Here we are, alive on this planet at this minute. Here we are alive. We can see, we can hear. I have hearing aids. I have cataracts. We can walk. I walk with a cane. Our mind works. I don't have Alzheimer's yet. And maybe it's because I get in and play these games to keep my mind working. But I tell you what, when people, I'm not talking about you, because if you're here watching this thing about geography, you care about the world, you care about learning geography. It's a high probability that you are interested in the world, and high probability that you're not prejudiced against someone simply because of their religion or their nationality or the country or the language or their orientation or the color, anything like that. There's a high probability that if you're interested in geography, unless you are forced to take geography and you hate it. I don't know how you, here's why you hate it. Here's why you might hate geography. Because it used to take a whole semester to try and learn the 50 states. It used to take a whole semester to learn 15 major countries in the world. And at the end of that semester, 2 weeks into the summer, at the end of the summer after that school year, you completely forgot, and you can't find Alabama, Wyoming, Vermont, Colorado on a blank map of the United States. But with our system, we make learning fun. With our system, I got to check on something. Okay, I got to keep checking to see if anybody's added any comments yet, because I want to answer the questions. We make learning fun, and we make learning geography fun. To me, it's fun. If you're a geography teacher, you can learn names of all 50 states, and you and your students can learn all 50 states in one evening. You and your students can learn countries of Africa or Europe in 1 week. And you don't need 6 extra hours in your week to learn the countries of Africa or Europe. You just change priorities. Instead of watching, I don't know. Oh, Spider-Man just came out today. I'm going to go see No, it's packed. The theaters are packed. Okay. Instead of going to see Spider-Man, which takes 2 hours, and because it's packed, I can't go. So instead of going to see Spider-Man, which I can't see because the theater is packed, I can actually sit down and do something for those 2 hours. I can get and make a live stream. If you're above the age of 10, it's likely you know how to make videos. I've seen so many of these videos on YouTube by kids, I don't know, whatever kids do, playing basketball, whatever they just get their friend and they say, here's a video of me, I don't know, bicycling through the park, whatever. I don't know what it is. But if you're okay, let me get into this. Now we're in test mode. Back to the topic. That's for Washington. That's for Knox. See if I can get 100%. Somerset, Cumberland, purple one down here, Lincoln, the green one, Piscataquis, Penobscot. I think I can get to pronounce these somewhat. Franklin, Waldo. Where's Waldo? Waldo's right here. Sagadahoc, yellow one. Aroostook. Hancock would be this one. You wonder where these counties get their name. Is this where John Hancock was from? I don't know. We can find out. Google knows. Okay, that's for Oxford. York. I've answered 14 so far. I got 2 more. Kennebec and Androscoggin, this red one. And I got 100%. And my little car up here, my red car, is up there with, looks like I've got 74 smarts. That was a, what do you call it? A side trip away from Texas, a side trip into Maine. Let's do a side trip into the World Cup countries. I'm going to go through all these here in a minute. I'm going to go into multiplayer, and there it shows me in my red car. I'm still in the same car. In 3 seconds, I'm going to have to switch cars or start over. And it says, what car do you want to be in? I want to be in the red car again. Oh, you know what happened? I think these colors were set up for not only learning the World Cup countries, but specifically 2 of these teams, red and green. I think one is Spain and one is who are the final countries in the World Cup? Was it Spain? I think it was Spain and I don't know. I'm not a soccer person. Spain and Argentina? Might have been Spain and Argentina. Okay, anyway, I'm going to click go. It asks for, we're learning, reviewing the countries that were in the World Cup. It asks for Argentina. What's it asking for? Algeria. There we go, Algeria. I got to look at the question. Argentina, Australia, Austria, right below Czech Republic, Belgium, right next to the Netherlands, Belgium, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil. You know, I was talking so much I did not beat the clock. Algeria, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bosnia, and Brazil. I beat the clock by, it looks like, 6 seconds. Now we go to 14 questions. Algeria, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Belarus, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Brazil, Canada, Cape Verde, little island off of Ecuador. Cape Verde has a soccer team. Colombia. Where's Colombia? Colombia, Croatia. I probably won't beat the clock. Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ecuador on the equator, Egypt. Okay, did not beat the clock. Okay, let's beat the clock. Focus and concentrate. Algeria, Argentina, Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bosnia, Brazil, Canada, Cape Verde, Colombia, Croatia, DROC, Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ecuador, and Egypt. All of those sent their soccer team for the World Cup. Now we're up to 21.
Algeria, Argentina, Australia. Which ones? Austria, Belgium, Bosnia, Brazil, Canada, Cape Verde, Colombia, Croatia, DROC, Ecuador, Egypt, England, France. France has won the World Cup a few times. Germany, Ghana. I hate the Ivory Coast. I have a friend from Ghana, and there's the Ivory Coast. Japan. See if I beat the clock. Mexico, and I beat the clock. Okay, that's how the system works. Then we'll go to 28 questions, and then we'll go, I think, to 32, and then we play in random order in test mode. But I want to get back to Texas. I lived in Texas. Okay, let's click this thumbnail. First, I'm going to show you how I got there. I went to clickandlearn.fun. This is the playground that I have purchased for me and my students, or me and the members of the Geography Club. I own this playground and I can invite, I don't know how many ever students I purchased for, 24 students into having access to this playground that I have set up. So anyway, and as a registered user, I have access to all these games. I can play all these games. I click this one. Let's go to single player, and it asks for North Dakota. This is one of my favorite games. It doesn't have the colors. It doesn't have the shapes. You just have to know where, in this case, North Dakota is located. North Dakota. Where is West Virginia? This is Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina. This would be Virginia, and this would be West Virginia. Okay, I got a green light. Maine, some of these are easy. Washington, some of these are very easy. I live in Arizona. Nevada, Missouri. I was born in Missouri. This would be Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri. Okay, North Carolina. This is South Carolina, North Carolina. Oklahoma, right above Texas. Hawaii and Alaska are down here because so we'll all fit on the map. Massachusetts. This is really one of my favorite games in the whole system. My point is, I can play that game because I'm a subscriber. And if I had a teacher who purchased the playground and gave me access, I could play all those games, all these games. Let's go down here to pick a game about, let's do Canada. I click on Canada. Let's do single player. And I click the go button. It asks for Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Northwest Territories, Nova Scotia. Okay. And then we go to 13. 7, 14, 21. In this case, there are only 13. So we have all of them on the screen. Alberta, British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Northwest Territories, Nova Scotia, Nunavut, and then OPQ, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec. Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec. So that's for Ontario, and then Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Saskatchewan, and Yukon. I might not beat the clock. Okay. I was off on a tangent, so I did not beat the clock. I clicked the go button. I know that after Alberta, it's going to be British Columbia, Manitoba, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Northwest Territories, Nova Scotia, Nunavut, OPQ, Ontario, Prince Edward Island, Quebec, Saskatchewan, and Utah. I beat the clock by, it looks like, 7 seconds. Okay. To me, that is a beauty of this system. And I wanted to show you that all these games, once you purchase Even if you're just by yourself and you want to purchase access, $20 a year, and you have access to all of these over 2,000 games. And as a subscriber, I don't need to go up to the free this week games. I can go right into any of these games. I click Game Library. I click, let me take you into a couple other games. I click Pick Your State. And I'm going to pick an easy state, Arizona. I think Arizona has 15 counties. If you click this button thumbnail here, you're going to get open a PDF file where you got maps, black line map you can use for pre-testing, post-testing, check your progress, or you can play any of these games in this system here. I'm going to play the color map game of Arizona in single player mode. It asks for Apache, Cochise, Coconino, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, La Paz. Beat the clock. Now go to 14. Apache, Cochise, Coconino, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, La Paz, Maricopa, Mojave, Navajo, Pima, Pinal, Santa Cruz, Yavapai, and now we go to 15. There are 15 counties in this game, this level. It says down here at the bottom, player to level 2 of the Arizona counties. So now we've got all 15 on the screen. Apache, Cochise, Coconino, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, La Paz, Maricopa, Mojave, Navajo, Pima, Pinal, Santa Cruz, Yavapai, and Yuma. We beat the clock by, it looks like, 3 seconds, and it says Bob cleared level 3 Arizona counties. And now we go into random order. Click Go. Gila, Graham, Greenlee, so this is Graham. It asks for Graham. Apache. It asks for Coconino. This would be Coconino. Cochise. The button disappears. Yavapai. Gila, Graham, Greenlee, so this is Gila. Mojave, Maricopa, Yuma is this one, okay. Pinal, Pinal, this Pinal, Greenlee, Santa Cruz, Navajo, Pima, and La Paz. 12 seconds over. Okay, let's go through that faster. Yavapai, La Paz. Where is La Paz? Pima, La Paz, Navajo, Santa Cruz, Pinal, Cochise, Greenlee, Gila, Graham, Greenlee, Gila, Apache, Yuma, Graham, Maricopa, Mojave, Pima, and Coconino. I still did not beat the clock. That is the challenge. That is what forces you. It's called active learning. That is what forces you to learn. Let's do this again. I'm going to beat the clock. I'm not going to talk off on tangents. I'm just going to look at the question and click the correct button. I look at the question, I say it, I click the correct button. Santa Cruz, Gila, Graham, Coconino, Mojave, Maricopa, Yavapai, Navajo, Pinal, Greenlee, La Paz. Oops, this is La Paz. That was Yuma. Apache, Cochise, Yuma, and Pima. And I beat the clock. Okay. And now I go to test mode. Well, let's just go right into test mode. I click the go button. And in test mode, we're not racing the clock. I can sit there and think Santa Cruz, click the correct button. The buttons did not disappear in test mode. Mojave, Mojave, Navajo, Apache, Pima, Pima, Gila, La Paz. This is La Paz. Graham, Graham County. Greenlee. Where is Greenlee? Gila, Graham, Greenlee. This is Greenlee. Coconino, Cochise, Maricopa. Am I racing the clock? No, we're in test mode. I'm not racing the clock. Maricopa, Yavapai, Yavapai, Yuma, Pinal, Pima, Pinal. Okay, I got 100%. My point is, once you are a subscriber for $20 a year, you have access to all of these. If you're not a subscriber, you can still get in and play the first 7 questions of any of our games to see how they work. See the quality of our games. You can play the first 7 questions of any of our 2,000 games in the system. But if you want to pay just $20 a year, we open it up, the entire system open it up to you and your friends, you and your students, you and your club members, whoever you purchase the system for, $20 a person. Okay, now let's get back to, I just played Arizona. I'm going to collapse that one. I'm going to collapse this. And I'm going to collapse this one because I'm going to get you into a game that's free this week. Let's get into Europe. Click that thumbnail. Let's play in multiplayer mode. This was still set up for the World Cup. We'll have to fix that. I'm going to pick the red car, and it shows them in the red car. Looks like this is Kentucky Derby. Is that the Kentucky Derby there? Anyway, click go. It asks for alphabetic Albania, Andorra, Austria, Belarus. What does it ask for? Belarus is up here. Belarus, Belgium, Bosnia, Bulgaria. 1 second over. Okay. Albania, Andorra, Austria, Belarus, Belgium, Bulgaria. What's it asking for? Bosnia. That's for Bosnia, Bulgaria. 1 second over. Good, because I do want to get it in order correctly. Albania, Andorra, Austria, Belarus, Belgium, Bosnia, Bulgaria. Okay, beat the clock, and now we go to 14 questions. Albania, Andorra, Austria, Belarus, Belgium, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Denmark, England, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Iceland, Ireland, Italy, and so forth. I tell you what, I've been doing this for, right now it is, it's 1:30 here in Arizona, and I've been on this for almost exactly 2 hours. So we're going to drop off. But thank you for joining us. I'm going to try and do this on a regular basis. I'm going to try and do morning and evening every day, morning and evening, because we're going to people are going to stumble onto this, and they're going to say, hey, I want to learn about, and I'm going to be taking a trip to Europe. I want to learn about the countries of Europe. They might stumble on this, or some Secretary of Education in the Department of Education for their state might say, I believe geography is important. We're going to make this available to our students in whatever state. But anyway, here's where I go to. What do I do next? I'm supposed to say, thank you for watching. I enjoy this. It's fun. It doesn't take any extra time out of your life. You just change your priorities. So when I say it takes 6 hours to learn the countries of Europe, we're not saying anything. You don't have to sacrifice anything except change your priorities. Instead of going to see Spider-Man, because I know the theater is already packed, I will work on something productive. Or at my age, I'll take a nap. So at my age, here's the other thing. If I can do this at my age, you and your teachers and your students and your grandkids and your children and your parents and your granddad, all of these people do it much better than I can do it. Well, maybe not your granddad. I'm granddad age, and this is not easy. If I can do it, you can do it. That's my point. So in the stream, I close that and I say, thank you for watching, and we'll see you maybe this evening. Okay, take care.